What's up, guys? This is Carter Thomas of Bluecloud Solutions, and today I want to talk to you about whether or not you should localize your app. This is obviously for people that already have an app in the App Store and for people that know a little bit about app marketing. For anybody who doesn't, localizing your app means that you translate it for other languages. Now, you can do this in a variety of different ways, right? You can make your iTunes page or your Google Play page, you can rewrite it in the language for that country so that people who are in the Japanese App Store will see Japanese when they open your app. Or if you're in the German App Store, they'll see German and all that, everything that goes into that. Now, the other piece of this is you can actually localize the app itself. So if you are in Japan and you boot up your app, the app itself inside your phone will have language that is specific for that country, right? And it can be for each country can have a different set of languages or images or whatever it may be. Now, on the app level, that's pretty advanced. I don't think a lot of people get to that level until you're making real money. But a lot of people try to or test out localizing their iTunes or Google Play page, right? You get it translated for certain countries so that you can potentially get more downloads from people in that country because they understand what they're getting, they connect, their conversion rate goes up, everyone has a great time. But now the question comes into, is it worth it, right? Is it worth it in two ways to measure how it's worth? One, is it worth the money? Because you got to go hire somebody to translate it and to do the research on the culture and make sure that you're doing it right. Because I can tell you right now, if you just go to Google Translate and copy and paste in what you already have, it's not going to help you out that much. Like in most cases, actually, it actually hurts you because it doesn't flow correctly with the native language. So the first thing you got to think about is it worth it to hire somebody, whether it be a couple $100, a couple $1,000. The second piece, is it worth your time? Because now in iTunes, I'm just going to use iTunes as an example. When you're uploading your app or updating your app, every time you update it, you're going to have to make sure that you update each different version, each language version, so it can add a lot of time to your workflow over the course of your lifetime, over the course of your app's lifetime. So those are the two things to think about: money and time. And so when people always ask me, or they post in the group, or they email, or whatever it may be, and they're wondering if it's even worth it. In the sense that if they do this, if they translate this App Store page, will the downloads make them more money that will then make it worthwhile for them in a financial sense? Now, here's something that people often forget about. When you localize an app, typically you are trying to get more downloads. So if you localize your app, and let's say it's in Japan, and all of a sudden that's going to get you 20% more downloads in Japan, that's great. But realize that if those downloads are not turning into dollars already, getting more downloads that don't turn into dollars isn't going to help you. You may get more downloads and you may feel better about yourself, but it's not really doing anything for you or for your business. So the first thing you got to think about is, or the first thing you got to decide upon is, am I actually making money already from this country? Do I know that this is a profitable country for me? And you can find this out in your analytics report, in your iTunes Connect. Apple will give you this data and allow you to filter by country so that not only are you getting downloads in Japan, but the people who are in Japan actually spend a lot of money as well. So it could be a great option for you versus, wow, I see a lot of downloads that are coming to my app in China or in India, for example, and I should localize in them, right? This happens all the time. This happened to me a couple of years ago. But what you don't realize, or what you don't necessarily do the analysis on, is those countries may not be making you any money. You may be able to get tens of thousands of downloads in a place like India or Pakistan or Thailand or any tier 3 country. Tier 3 is just how they classify them in iTunes. But they may be so low on their lifetime value that you're not going to make any money, even if you 10 times the download number. So it may be very tantalizing and kind of have that siren song of, oh, I should totally go to this country because I can get so many more downloads. But you gotta do the analysis on if I get more downloads, how much more money will I make? So the easy way to do this is to go in your iTunes Connect account and see how many downloads you're getting from your, in that particular country for your app. Then look at how many in-app purchases or paid purchases that people have completed in that country, so that you can get a metric where you divide the number of downloads by the amount of money. That's going to give you an average revenue per user. Right? If you're showing ads, you can also add in the advertising revenue for that country. You can go into your ad network and pull a report and look at all the country, by country, and put that number in. Then you're going to have an average revenue per user. Okay, and then so if you go and you forecast and say, well, if we localize this and translate this app for this country, and let's say we expect to get 20% more downloads, that is going to increase our number by this. We multiply it by our average revenue per user, and then you now have a dollar amount that you can compare to the cost of actually trying to do this. Right? You can make a decision, be like, well, we're going to make $500, but it's going to cost us $1,000. Is this worth it? I don't know. Maybe it's going to cost $1,000, but it's going to make us $50,000. That's a good investment, right? Like, you should definitely do that. And you got to make that forecast yourself, right? You got to be able to do some research and see other people that are localizing, what it's going to do to your rank. There's plenty of ways you can do that analysis. And if you're at this level, you should be doing this analysis anyway, which is why I'm not going to get into the details of that. But that's really what it comes down to. If you are wondering whether or not you should localize your app, the answer is you have to be able to assign a dollar amount to localization. If you already know how much it's going to cost you, now you need to put a number on how much return you're going to get for that effort. And you do that by forecasting how much your downloads will increase, and then you go into your existing app analytics and get your average revenue per user, and you multiply the two. Now you are comparing apples to apples. Cost versus return. Is it worth it? And that's your answer. That's how you make that decision. But realize localization will increase your downloads, but it will not necessarily increase your revenue. So if they're not making money already, you're just going to have more people that don't spend money. Now, the final piece of that, if you do in fact localize the app, if you go in and you make the app itself catered to that country with different languages and images and things like this. I did this for a casino app in China, where we actually went in the app and changed different toys and prizes to match cultural norms. That does increase monetization because people use the app differently. They engage, they connect more. It's not just about understanding, they really enjoy it because it's culturally significant to them, meaningful for them. And that did increase the lifetime value or the average revenue per user. So that's kind of the final caveat where if you go into the app and you want to localize the app itself, and you can prove that it's going to dramatically increase the average revenue per user, that can be a game changer. If you want to test that, honestly, you do it for one country and see what happens. Make the investment on one country. If it works, you know that it'll probably work on the other countries as well. And that's how you do it. So if you're looking to localize your apps, I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment below or share this with somebody who's thinking about localizing their apps. And let me know about your experience with localizing apps, with translating your apps or catering to a different country. Has it been successful? Has it not been successful? Do you have any questions, any comments, any follow-up? Just let me know. I'd love to be able to help you out. So this is Carter from Bluecloud, and I will talk to you guys soon.